Well, good morning, everyone. We have been playing around, or I have been playing around with some of the technology this morning. So if you see anything weird, just let me know in the chat. But I think it's working properly. But time will tell for sure. We'll see here. Oh, let's see. We got this over here. All right. All right. So how is everybody this morning? The heck is today? Thursday, the 28th, August. I can't believe that it's almost the end of August already. Wow. Wow. How time flies when you're having fun. There we go. Let's see. I think we've got Alex coming in here.
Good morning.
Well, good morning, Alex. All right. Let's see. I haven't heard from Dave. Uh-oh, what?
Yeah, mega farms. I guess interstate inmate still in jail.
Oh, yeah. I think he said like 20 minutes into the show today. I think he goes live. Has anybody heard from Dave? I haven't heard from him.
I think he's probably still doing farm show. I haven't heard from him either. I'm sure James has. Cool.
Yep, he's still at the show. He's walking around being a bum.
Oh, got it. Okay. Well,
no, he's got some important stuff to address, so he's taking care of that. But yeah, we'll take care of him.
Oh yeah. I just normally he tells me he's not going to be here or something, but I haven't heard from him. Oh well, no big deal. How are you this morning, James?
I'm doing very well.
Okay.
That's the reserved James until we get going with some. And once again, James, no props, no pictures that are inappropriate.
Understand, sir.
I'm gonna
Any other directives today?
That's it for now.
Seems to be the group is full of directives today, especially one female.
Right, exactly. You know what? She's earned her badges, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah.
Just so everybody knows, Lisa Maria will not be here today. She has a very pressing priority appointment that I'm not at liberty to say what it is. But she'll be back.
I'll say it.
No, you won't. No, you won't. All right. Well, let's see here who we've got this morning. We have Russell Webster over on YouTube. Good morning, Russell. Ozzy Crosby on YouTube. Richard Pacente over on YouTube. Let's see if we're going to be on fire on YouTube again today. And then, hey, Allie Mae's here. Hi, Allie Mae.
Hi, darling. Thank you for the sweet text message this morning.
Please don't call me darling, okay? There's got to be boundaries here, Alex.
You don't have to call me darling. Darling.
What, Alex, actually, what did you do with that money?
I spent it all on my wife.
Good recovery.
For the older people in the crowd, you know exactly what I was asking and what I was hoping for. But Alex he rose from the ashes on that one. All right, let's see here.
Nice try, Sam.
I know. Lee is here. Good morning, Lee. Wendy, Vicky, Veronica Bakken is here. I hope I'm not butchering that name, Vicky.
Mr. Gwen.
Virgo 47 is here. Tanya Moonsheimer. Chris Romano is here. Dana Mackey, Barb 7599, Cody, PJ Party, Peggy. Are you still in the deep south, Peggy? Just wondering. Native San Diegan is here. Howdy doody to you as well. Charlie, good morning, Charlie. Virgo 47, my birthday Sunday time is zooming by. Is today your birthday, Virgo 47? Put it in the chat if it is, please. Good morning, Joy. Towie Bixby's here. Christy B. from Hayesville, Kansas. Sherry from East Tennessee. And there she is, Allie Mae. Kevin Kiesler is here as well.
Just a heads up, your links with the HTTP worked. YouTube, the links are there. So
nice. Excellent.
Look at you being IT savvy, sir.
Let's go. No kidding. Well, the funny thing is, Alex, I owned a technology company. I was partners with somebody in a tech company back in, we started in 1997 in a garage in Monarch Beach. and grew the company exponentially over the next 4 years. And back then, I didn't even know how to type. And I knew nothing about a computer. I was like, oh, look at that. And so what I did was I bought this old tech program. I don't even know if it's out there anymore, but it was called Mavis Beacon Teaches Typing. And I just sat down and I learned how to type. And I'm telling you that, so I'm no stranger to technology, but this whole social media thing is a whole new animal, a whole new animal. All right, let's see. Marianne Thompson is here. Wow, we're already at half of our tiny diny goal. You guys are amazing. Franny Dragonfly, good morning to our team. Love it. Blondie said, love the word darling. Laugh out loud. It's my last name. Oh, that's sweet. King's Girl 1974 is here. D is here. The man, the myth, the legend, John Gwynn. Good morning, John. Kathleen Garcia. Oh, Virgo 47 said her birthday's on Sunday. Well, happy early birthday, Virgo 47. Dobermom 79 is here. Andrea Lynn 81. John posting the memes already. Oh, it's going to be a day. Brian Yeager. Good morning, Brian. Kelly Thurman 2 is here as well. Good morning, Kelly. All right, let's see here. I think everything. Oh, geez. It does look like YouTube is going to be on fire again today. Great. Welcome in, everybody, no matter what your perspectives. Oh, and also, too, before we get started, you remember yesterday I made an announcement that if anybody had an alternating viewpoint, that I would welcome any discussion with them, right? Well, sure enough.
Certainly not Chili Bean on YouTube.
No. This was somebody by the name of Aiden on TikTok. And, he sent me 10 bullet points that he thought that he disagreed with us on. And the first thing I told him when I responded is I said, you know what? First of all, I want to thank you for showing respect. And above all, no matter whether we agree or disagree, I thanked him for showing the respect in the communication and told him that I would be willing to talk to him. And I haven't heard back from him. But anybody else out there, YouTube or otherwise, if you would like to offer another point of view, we're open to it. But again, it has to be done politely and respectfully. So anyway, I just thought that was really cool that person reached out. Tracy Fagan's here. Hey, Tracy. No, the live is not frozen as far as I can tell. I don't know if anybody else is having that issue. Valerie James said, good morning. I'm kind of on time today. You are on time. We're just getting started, Valerie. Nurse is here. Pickle Nick is here. Good morning, Pickle Nick. Wendy J. Who else do we have just piling in? And there he is. Benji 1959. Good morning, Ben. Yeah, Virgo 47 said civil discourse. Absolutely. 100%. And like I said, we're open to it. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. So we'll have to see whether or not I hear back from that person or anybody else that wants to offer an alternating opinion. All right, let's see. Towie said she's not frozen. No, I think it may only be you, Tracy. Oh, she said, yeah, it was my end, frozen. Okay. All right, well, let's see here. Alex, why don't we get into some indices this morning?
Okay, I'm still trying to pick the deltas for the day. There were 38. So let's start out with the indices. S&P 500 up 5 points to 6,486. Dow is up 6 points to 45,572. NASDAQ is up 64 points to 21,654. Gold is up $14 to $3,462.60. Silver is up 0.72%, 28 cents to $39.11. Looking at the crypto market, up and down. We've got Bitcoin up 0.71% to 112,000. Ethereum down almost 3% to 4,497. XRP down 1% to $2.98. Man, I need that steak. Solana is up 1%, 1.8% to 210. Cardano down 1% to 86. Sui down $3.46. XLM down 1% to 38. So it's let's see, Hedera down. So HBAR is also down. Deltas. An important one. It's 1958, dated August 28th, 2018. The reason why we continue to highlight this speech, and it is a speech from Trump pre-2016, says, listen carefully, truth and honesty, part 2, rally, Red October, mouthpieces do not think or speak for themselves. The other one was 1955, do not force those that are not ready. The fake news narrative, make believe, has been ingrained for a long time. Do not isolate yourself within your own family. Dark to light, truth will shine. Impossible to defend, impossible to ignore. Stay strong. You're not alone. Patriots, all.
Thank you, Alex. It's funny that you bring up that one, the last one that you just spoke about, because Boone Cutler and Rambo and Friends, Joe Rambo over on X, specifically highlighted that one drop. And I think it is so important to take those words of wisdom, meaning that do not allow, nice headphones, do not allow what has been going on in the political realm to influence your family's relationships. At least that's my opinion. And that's something I've done my best to live by, because this is a matter of not, I told you so, but this is a matter of coming up beside people, teaching them, helping them, raising them up, not dragging them down, at least not in my opinion. So the YouTube trolls are out, and this is really funny. Ryan H over on YouTube said, "You all look the same." And Strange Quark said, "Who? Asians?" And he said, "No, MAGA, big guts and uneducated." Well, I would beg to differ with you. If you've ever seen me stand up, there's no chance that anybody would think I have a big gut. In fact, I would venture to guess to say that my abs are probably more prominent than yours are. That's just a guess on my part, but probably an accurate one. I know they're on.
It's pretty easy to talk stuff like that from behind a keyboard.
Yeah.
And obviously not knowing, Sam's 62 with a six pack. I'm 52 with a six pack. This man down here is former military. The pictures of him in his prime, bro. Pick one of us. Not a dark alley you want to be found.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Penny, thank you. Goldie Man's here. Traveler's here. Everybody's piling in. Love it. All right. Anyway, I just had to address that. It kind of cracked me up. All right, James, what do we have in terms of a military report today?
Well, this is going to be a little bit different report, Sam. Probably closer to getting me in trouble than my normal thing.
Here we go.
Don't do it.
Alex, get ready. Put your finger on the button just in case.
You're not on your own account. Behave.
Yeah, it's not that bad. But it's definitely a truther. The division in the United States between political parties seems to be narrowing, at least in one topic. The topic is crime in major cities. Although the exact numbers are difficult to pinpoint, the majority of all Americans agree that crime is more than just simple crime. It's become a monster. The thought of having to use our mightiest strength is something that is hard to fathom when it comes to uprighting our society so people can feel safe going anywhere in this country. Washington, the latest example and focus point of the military presence, is a prime example. I do agree that the United States military should not have to be used to combat crime in major cities. However, the leadership across these cities has allowed crime to escalate at a pace that state and local law enforcement cannot control even if they tried, all because of something so simplistic as a vote and greed. Mayors and governors have harnessed the ideology not to send police into areas in major cities that threaten them and security officers to answer to the very monster that they created themselves. It's at a point that they've become panicked and simply allow shootings, looting at a scale that an intervention is not only called for, it's required. What happened in Minnesota yesterday is another tragedy. To watch a mayor and governor responsible was nothing short of a disappointment. President Trump and his cabinet have a responsibility to this nation, and that is the salt and grain of this earth. Living in a safe, secure, and peaceful country is their responsibility to oversee. When mayors and governors can't do the job or won't do the job that they were elected to do and let it so far out of hand, the federal response is required. While some say it's against the law for U.S. military to intervene, those are the very people that are part of the problem. When people think that it's okay to use weapons against children, men, and women, burn the United States flag to prove a point, this screams there is a problem. With the multiple of concerns globally, it's a shame that it has come to this calling. Even in an area deserves the calling of the green machine, you have to know that hell comes with it. I've given these two oaths, this is credo. I'm an American fighting man. I served in the forces which guard our country and our way of life, and I'm prepared to give my life in their defense. And the other one is, I, James Perdue, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States. Each and every soldier in the United States of America says those two things, and when we have to put those people in harm's way to upright what this government, not this government, but the mayors and governors have allowed, you have to respect those people.
100%, James. Great report, as always. As always. You know, that whole thing with the flag, I think that there's much more going on there than meets the eye. I don't think I agree with President Trump in terms of not allowing the burning of the flag. That is part of the First Amendment. Now, that being said, I think what's going to happen is that is going to accelerate to the Supreme Court. And it's probably going to get overturned. And in that way, if they do that, what will I think may happen is it's going to strengthen the First Amendment. The First Amendment is something that has to be protected. And people may disagree with me, and that's okay. But that's how I see it at this point. Go ahead, Alex. I know you wanted to say something.
Well, so if you read way down in the executive order, it is, there's a fine line in what he's saying about burning the American flag. So there is a First Amendment, and I'm not advocating for it. I'm with you guys on it shouldn't be done. There is a specific protocol for disposing of old U.S. flags. Very familiar, have participated in many. But what he says in the executive order is that the burning of the flag, the desecration to violate natural laws while causing harm unrelated to expression, consistent with the First Amendment. So he's saying that if you're doing it to incite discourse, then that's what's not okay. If you're simply doing it because it's a freedom of speech thing and you don't like America, fine. But the guy that was immediately arrested as soon as this EO came out for doing it in a park in DC wasn't arrested for burning the flag. He could have been burning candy wrappers. It doesn't matter because there's a law that says you cannot have a fire, period. And so it was a stunt, right? So what, if you read it carefully, it's to the full extent possible for nations, criminal and civil laws against acts of a flag desecration that violate applicable content natural laws while causing harm unrelated to expression, right? So there is do I think that you should ever do it? No, I don't. Is there a First Amendment right to be able to do it? I believe so, if it's the freedom of speech, not inciting a riot.
Right. No, that's very well stated, Alex. Very well stated.
Pat? How are
Well,
you,
look
brother?
who we have here. Mr. Militich. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for letting me into the room. Sorry, I didn't get my background set, so I was going to throw up something, I don't know, World War III or something.
Well, let me tell you, Pat, be careful because as you can see, James is on our guest account today because James decided he was going to put something up on a background picture that TikTok did not like and subsequently got suspended for multiple days. So be careful what you
Pat,
put
you
up.
want to see it? You want to see
No,
it, Pat? I
no,
can
no,
put it up.
James, no.
I got suspended a week ago from going live, which I've never really gone live except with you guys. But I got suspended for a week for mentioning the C1/9 and some things that obviously we know how to correct. And so, yeah, that was my doom for a week.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
anyway.
You got to be careful. I really believe, and I've said this for some time now, ever since President Trump came on TikTok, the algorithms have changed in our favor. But I still think there's old algorithms that are getting cleaned out because, knock on wood, every time we've gotten a violation, every time, and I've lodged an appeal, it's been accepted and reversed. So hang in there. They're cleaning out the algorithms, in my opinion, and I think we're on the right track. But again, it's always best to play it on the safe side at this point.
Sure.
I jokingly will say this, but I mean, you realize that you're inviting the competition onto our show. Pat's launching his own show.
Good.
Job, Pat.
Good.
Brother.
Tell everybody about it, Pat, would you?
Yeah, just be the Pat Militich Show. We've got Rumble and LFA TV, and I doubt it'll survive on YouTube. We were the Conspiracy Farm podcast that we did years ago. Started years ago. I mean, we got demonetized immediately on YouTube. So, we're gonna, and then there's a couple other platforms, of course, we'll be on. But yeah, so I just interviewed. I've got several in the can. Just interviewed Catherine Austin Fitz, who sat at the top of the investment banking world on Wall Street, and of course served as housing, urban development in the Bush administration, and some other things. And the things she says about what's going on today, the whole gambit, it's very interesting to say the least.
I have followed Catherine Austin Fitz and her Solari report for years. She's a very sharp woman, very sharp.
Very exceptionally, yeah.
But I do disagree with her on certain things. But again, that's okay. It's okay to disagree as long as we do it in a respectful manner, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll see what happens. But I'd love to hear more about it once you get up and running. We'll bring you on and tell everybody where to find you.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, of course, brother. All right. So, boy, you're getting a lot of clapping in the chat there, James, for your opening salvo today. Great job. Great job.
Just so you know, Sam, 5 minutes ago I was allowed back on the air, but I'm going to leave it where it's at.
Why don't you flip it? You can flip it. Go ahead.
I can, but I'll have to go out and come back in.
That's fine. Go ahead.
All right.
We'll do
Alec,
a couple.
can you go ahead and drop me out, would you?
We promise not to talk about you while you're gone.
No, I don't. I said, no, I don't, just as I click the button. And another thing too, Pat, over on YouTube, there's something going on. As I said, the algorithms are getting cleaned out. It took me over 2 years to get to 1,000 followers on YouTube. And in the last 2 weeks, it has exploded. They've taken the brakes off. So I would not be as concerned as I was, a couple of years ago. But again,
when we mention solutions is when we seem to have problems in corrective health issues and even some environmental stuff that's going on. So that's where we've seen some problems, at least.
Yeah, exactly. But again, you're going to have to figure it out as you go forward because there are certain things that will trigger certain platforms. But I'm confident you'll figure it out. Hey, Teresa.
Create a new monetary system and take it over.
Exactly.
And then we won't have these problems.
It's happening as we speak. Teresa Fria, contractor, is here. Norm is here. Oh, my goodness. Everybody's piling in. We have Jerry BR is here. And did I see? Yes, Lace and Steel is here. Good morning, Lace. Glad you could make it.
If you need help getting multicast or streaming or anything, I stumble through it okay, but if you need help, certainly don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, and Alex was instrumental in getting us up to the simul stream level. Hey, James, you made it back.
I did.
It looks like you're locked up, though. Oh, there we
Not
go.
anymore.
There we go. Welcome back, interstate inmate. Welcome back. All right. So let's see here. Let's move on. Let's go on to our first story. So a cyber attack was caused in Nevada's state offices. And it closed for 2 days this week and rendered some state websites and phone lines unavailable. This is according to the governor's office. Now, I don't know. I don't have my cyber attack decorations up yet. What about you, Alex?
I ordered a couple case of popcorn, so we're good.
Yeah. James?
Sam, I happened to catch this out of the corner of my eye. Lisa Maria said, I had to stop in, Sam, and give James some shit.
Oh, Lisa's here. Hi, Lisa. I didn't see her come in.
Yeah. Anyway, so as far as the cyber attacks in Nevada, Tom Galuzzi, Nevada's chief information officer, says that personal data may have been taken. The governor said it was a sophisticated ransomware-based cyber attack. The Gaming Control Board's website and phone lines went down, but gaming continued.
What a surprise,
Interestingly, right? Interestingly enough, the Maryland Transit Administration Services was also hit, but they don't know if the two are connected.
Interesting. Joy said that she's in Nevada and that it's still closed. Wow.
Really?
Boy, what a surprise that the gaming didn't go down. Go figure, right? Did you hear anything about that, Pat? What do you think of it?
That's the thing is I was just on the phone yesterday again with the gentleman that have the post-quantum encrypted system. They're getting ready to release the $1 million rewards for anyone who can crack their codes and get into their system. And so it exists, and we're starting to push it to, again, doctors' offices, medical facilities, financial institutions, smaller banks, even, so entire states and even intelligence communities, power infrastructure, all of those things can be protected through this system. So it's getting ready to, and we really need to talk about it, Sam, because this is it. This is very unique, very unique.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll have to dedicate a whole show to that. All right. Well, let's see here. Gosh. Boy, there are some trolls over on YouTube today. So, Pat, the way we have this is we have our main show on TikTok, and then we use something called Restream, which is a simul streaming platform that we use. So that feeds it to X, YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble, right? Well, as I said, YouTube is on fire lately, and I'm telling you, it's just out of control, some of the comments. So be prepared. You might hear some crazy stuff today.
Yeah, I commented on there earlier, just commending you on your first support of the First Amendment, no matter what you say, as long as you're not hurting people. I mean, that's in line, of course, with anyone with so the fact you don't agree with Trump on that, bravo to you.
Yeah. I mean, I trust his judgment for the most part, but there are things that I have disagreed with, and I'm not going to hide from it. I'm not going to blindly follow him because he's President Trump. I think that he's a human. I think he makes mistakes, like we all do. But on that particular issue, I'm concerned about it. But again, I think it is just going to accelerate to the Supreme Court, and it's going to wind up bolstering our First Amendment anyway. So, all right. Well, look who's here. Agape Rescues Children. Stacy is here. She said, yes, I bet it's the Russian hackers that attacked the gaming casinos a few months ago. That could be. Yeah, the old Russians again. Going back to the same old playbook. Russia, right? Exactly.
Can I comment on the
Oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
The list of companies that are being attacked is the large companies. We're hearing about, AT&Ts and Googles and Microsofts and cities and governments. And what people don't understand is these companies have multi-million-dollar budgets to secure their information, your information, and they're not able to do it successfully. And a big part of that is user error. If you're not training your staff, if you're not showing your staff social engineering and how they do it, if you're not teaching them how to identify phishing emails or documents or pictures that are being transferred to and from, it's a lot easier to get in than people think it is. And so, Pat, I would be very interested in seeing what you're talking about from 30 plus years of securing multi-billion-dollar publicly traded companies. I'm all ears. I'm interested to know what you've got going on. A big part of what we do with our company is the education side of things, the process, the procedure, the tracking, the things that you have to do as a company to make sure that you're covering your own ass. There's a reason that the largest insurance companies in the world are making 97% profit off of their cybersecurity policies. Because if you don't dot the I's and cross the T's when they come in after a breach, they're going to tell you your policy doesn't cover you. You've been paying for it, but it doesn't cover you because you didn't do what you needed to do. So that's where Risk Tool Tech comes in to help companies do that. So I would absolutely enjoy having that conversation. I mean, the Social Security Administration was hacked, and how many multi-millions, the Experian hacks. Our information is all over the internet. It's easy to find.
Yeah, I'll put both. We'll do a conference call with the designer and the founders, so we can all jump on there and they can give you the rundown on it. I think you'll be quite impressed.
Excellent. And that's a perfect segue into our sponsor break here, everybody. So Alex was talking about risktooltech.com. And Alex just gave a perfect example of how important it is. And if you own a corporation, if you are an executive for a corporation, go to risktooltech.com and fill out the information. And Alex or one of his team will get back to you as soon as possible. Secondly, we have Mike Lindell, mypillow.com. Mike has sponsored me from the beginning. He's a good man with a good American company. He's doing his best to fight for the salvation of America. Go to mypillow.com, use the discount code SAM, and you'll get up to 80% off of your entire purchase. We have Neil Naturopathic. Dr. Julian Neal is a personal friend of mine, and he has been for years. He's developed a line of hair care products that not only gets rid of dandruff and helps your hair grow, but it's 100% chemical and toxic free. So go to neilnaturopathic.com, use the discount code SAM20, that's SAM20, and you'll get 20% off your order. And of course, Dr. Peter Glidden, as Pat so eloquently stated, whenever you're talking about solutions, the censorship is off the charts. Dr. Glidden has experienced that firsthand for decades. So go to my website, click on his link, use the code SAM, and you'll get 30% off of access to his member-only portal, which it will answer any question you could possibly have on health and wellness, especially if you have kids or grandkids. Very important. And then the other button on my website is to get his book with a 10% discount. Use the code SAM. All right, everybody. Thank you for your patience through that sponsor announcement. Let's move on. RFK Jr., and this is very apropos for what we were just speaking about, Pat. RFK Jr. says that formal nutrition education will be embedded into the college pre-med programs, and every future physician should master the language of prevention before they even touch a stethoscope. Now, this is something I have been screaming about literally for 4 decades. When the Rockefellers took over Western medicine back in the 1900s, everything changed. It went from a homeopathic approach to health and wellness to an allopathic approach. And now RFK Jr. is getting that straightened out. James, what do you think of it?
Confronting chronic diseases they're epidemics. Heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and other diets are directly related to illnesses that consume 90% of the healthcare budget, or $4 trillion. Poor diet fuels more than 500,000 preventable deaths annually from heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. The interesting part about what his campaign is about, in the general medical world, only 1.2 hours of nutrition is talked about on an annual basis. For those that are seeking medical fields that involve nutrition, only 2.9 hours are taught a year. 75% of medical schools today don't teach any of it.
Yeah, exactly. An average medical doctor during their schooling gets a total of 3 hours of nutritional training. Pat, you want to touch a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, RFK, I think, you know, if I know it's a massive move and it can't all happen this quickly, but I can tell you that if we're going to have subsidies for agriculture, it should go in the way of people switching to the organic, right? It takes 3 years to be fully considered organic, which is certainly it brings more money at the market, right? But for a farmer to leave the banking where he has to go to the bank and get the loans with the chemical company SOPs and the insurance companies insuring them for following the SOPs, if they leave that, they're very vulnerable, right? And where do they get the money for their inputs, for the natural inputs and the real nutrition and the real seeds, non-GMO, all of that? So I think if there's going to be subsidies, I think it needs to start switching over to that so that we can switch to a real food system. Because right now, as it is, nutrition and all that information is important. It's starting to open the minds of Americans, I think. But more than anything, well, where are we going to get the food that people want to eat when 95% of it's grown with synthetic chemicals? So one's got to go with the other in a lot of ways. Otherwise, it's learning the nutrition. We're never going to eat our way to health, Sam. It's impossible.
Right.
Just given what we've got.
My brother, Dr. Mike, God rest his soul, that was one of the things he'd say. You could eat 200 pounds of organic food per day, and you're still, hey, we had our daily goal. Thank you, everybody. Well, you could eat 200 pounds of organic food a day and still be deficient nutritionally. And again, it goes back to what Soil Saviors is doing, healing the soil, which is absolutely imperative. And it also, like you said, Pat, it takes time. I remember 35 years ago talking about organics. People looked at me like, what are you talking about? Today, 35 years later, it's part of our vocabulary. Everybody understands it. Everybody knows what it is. But look how long it took to get from in the mid 80s to where we are today, 40 years to get to the point where we really grasp what it is. And I think that learning process is going to accelerate over time.
Yeah, with pain. Pain forces change, right?
Yeah, exactly. What was that term? Reaching the precipice? Exactly.
Right. Sam, it's kind of important to remember that one good meal is not going to cure the problem, and one bad meal is not going to make you worse. So it's what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Right, exactly. And what's that old phrase? One of the Stoics said that basically an action breeds a habit breeds a life path or something like that. But essentially, you're right, James. Doing what you need to do each day, one day at a time. Eventually, you get to a point where you've been doing it for 30 days, and then 6 months, and then a year, and then 5 years, and 10 years, and on and on and on. And that's absolutely poignant to what we're talking about here, James, 100%. Alex, did you have any comment on that?
Of course I do. I always have comments, sir. There are 30 plus additives, preservatives that are allowed in our food chain that are either outright banned and outlawed or heavily restricted in countries like Canada, Japan. Look at the healthiness of the Japanese culture. And it's the dyes, it's potassium bromate. I mean, you can Google it. It goes on and on and on. Chlorine washed chicken. Why am I going to wash my chicken in chlorine? Like I'm going to take care of it out in the backyard, bring it in and put it right in the pan. You don't get any better than that. So I think that it's going back to Dave's analogy, that old wagon wheel, there are multiple spokes to us being healthy, and you can't just go in and rip out all the spokes because the wheel's going to fall off the wagon. But we do have to go through individually and fix each one of those spokes. I think that eating right, having a naturopathic way to heal our bodies and fix the food system is a great start. And then we get into the medical system and what it looks like to figure out what are all these things that are being pushed on the television. My mom lays in there and watches TV, and I swear to God, 9 out of 10 advertisements that are on her TV are pharmaceuticals. And that too is outlawed in other countries. We are one of the last 2 countries in the world that allow pharmaceutical companies to advertise. But if you took that advertising away, what happens to the fake news media? Where do all their sponsors go? Like how does that system get replaced? It's just another spoke on the wheels. So I think we're making progress. The autism thing that they talked about in this week's briefing is when I'm very interested to hear what we're finding.
Well, and that, as Pat was saying, there's 2 major issues: nutritional deficiency and toxicity. And both of those need to be addressed, as Alex said. And when it comes to autism, the doctor that opened my eyes to this 35 years ago was, oh, nice Pharaoh hat. Thank you. The doctor that opened my eyes to this was Andrew Wakefield. And he drew the correlation between the MMR vaccine, the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, and autism. And now RFK Jr. is bringing it out to the forefront. And people are going to lose their you-know-what when they find out the truth. Pat, any comment?
Well, we know that we're just going to say the javelins they're throwing into children, that we know that that's caused massive health problems. We're well aware of that. We know what causes DNA damage and cellular dysfunction and all kinds of manifestations of inflammation in the body, and it's heavy metals and it's synthetics. We can go back over and over and over through this like a broken record. Well,
But I think that's important to do it so it gets into people's consciousness.
And foreign DNA, and a lot of other, aborted fetal cell stuff and some other fragments. We can go on and on and on through that list. Are causing, I was researching this back in the 90s because I was working with children, and all of a sudden boys with autism were brought to me, and I would ask the parents questions. Well, what's causing it? What are the doctors saying? What are they doing for them? Oh, they're giving them medication. Wow, a 5-year-old on medication. What's the name of the medication? Research the medication. Wow, it's very similar to methamphetamine. So we're giving 5-year-olds what fueled the Nazi army to run into its death in the winter in Russia. This is what I'm talking about. It's lunacy.
It is
on all fronts.
It is absolutely 100%. I agree. All right, well, let's move on here. Did I get everybody? I think I did. Okay.
Yes.
All right. According to The Hill, this is changing gears here a little bit, but the Labor Day weekend gas prices are expected to be the lowest since 2020. This takes into consideration what's happening with the tariffs, what's going on with the refineries here in California. There is so much to this. James?
Well, Labor Day gas prices this year are lower than recent years. Although travel throughout the summer has seemed more affordable, electricity prices keep going up. Incomes are up, gas prices are down, yet the challenges are upcoming. Hurricane seasons, uncertainty of trade, tariffs, and Russia's war on Ukraine. 2.9 million travelers by air with American Airlines alone. TSA plans to screen 3.9 across 36,000 flights for American. United Airlines has 3.1 million from Thursday to September 2nd. Domestic round-trip flights are down 6% from last year. Hotels are 11% less. Car rentals are 6% less. Keep in mind, Friday through Monday, the most dangerous windows for travel. Top cities for domestic and international is Seattle and Vancouver. Both are cities for ports for Alaskan cruises. The other destinations are Orlando and New York as the most popular.
Yeah, excellent. Rick Sr., going back to our last story, said, I started eating clean years ago, and I can see a big difference. Very much so. John Gwynn posted tangy tangerine. So many of you have asked what I take. If you go to my website, samshalhoub.com, there's a button that says get your supplements here. Click on that button, get Beyond Tangy Tangerine. It's as a base level, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 essential fatty acids. Absolutely essential for health and wellness moving forward. And there he is, Brian, posting the squirrel in the chat. I know, Brian, I know. Squirrels are everywhere. All right. Let's see here. All right. Well, let's move on. Did everybody good on that? No, Alex, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know what's going on today. Is it the blue shirt? Do I need to put on a red shirt?
I don't know what it is, man, but there's squirrels. There's multiple chats going on. We have a guest with us today. I'm just all over the
fourth
board.
time. It's like, Sam.
Sorry.
I should have taken the day off.
You didn't get the memo. He didn't get the memo.
I did. I'm the rebel. So, gas prices, and you kind of touched on it, was the driving factor for the cost of goods to get things from place to place to place, right? And everybody's talking about energy prices. Like, I'm looking at the list of prices across the states. Of course, the coastal states are going to have the lowest because they're closest to the refineries, so the cost of getting the fuel to the people is lower. But $2.73 in Mississippi, $2.75 in Oklahoma. Here in Kansas, it's $2.86 right now. It's below $3. I think he wants to get it back down to where it was, the beginning of his first term. I think we'd all like to see it below $2 a gallon. The flip in diesel prices. Diesel is a byproduct. We've talked about that before. Diesel is created through the process of making gasoline. It's a byproduct. So whoever got the bright idea that diesel should be more expensive than gas should win I'll stop there. But I think it takes time, right? We're only 7 months in. Let this energy policy take effect. Let the refineries come online. Let the drilling take effect. And we're going to continue to see this trend of prices going down.
Yeah, 100%. Evelyn up just to subscribe. Welcome, Evelyn. Glad you decided to join us on the team. Charlie and Mama Soprano is here as well. Excuse me. All right, so let's move on to the next story. And this is a big one. President Trump, as we all know, has been on a tear on Truth Social in the last several weeks. One of the things he posted yesterday was George Soros and his wonderful radical left son should be charged with RICO because of their support of violent protests and much more all throughout the United States of America. We're not going to allow these lunatics to rip apart America anymore. Alex?
If you go to the boards, there's like literally 50 posts with the word Soros in it. You have no idea how sick and evil these people are. Like it goes on and on. So the fact that he's bringing attention to Soros, to Rothschilds, to old world money, I mean, this is another spoke to the wheel, right? We got to keep the wagon moving. When we start getting into following the money, where the money came from, where the pallets of bricks are showing up on the corners of cities for protest, and who paid for them, that shit ain't cheap. Go price a pallet of bricks and what it costs to have it delivered. Somebody's paying for this, and I think somebody is about to pay for this.
100%. I agree, 100%. Susie Kablizzi's here. Hey, Susie. She said that Ridgecrest, California gasoline is $4.09. It's the same thing down here in LA, Susie. It's crazy, I know. But getting back to George Soros and all of this, James?
Alex just issued a bullwhip. I kind of like that. That sounded fun. I guess if you really want to put things into perspective about how things have been for George Soros, the Biden administration and Biden himself awarded George Soros the Medal of Freedom, the top civilian honor, just prior to leaving the White House. And that was for funding violent protesters, paying protesters, and being a public nuisance. How do you get that honor?
Yeah.
That's just stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Pure Blood Holly John said popcorn. Exactly, Holly. Exactly. Oh, my gosh. Pat, any comments on that? Soros?
George Soros, we've been following him for many, many years, of course, and he's got 4 sons to be exact. And so he has quite a network. He donated billions upon billions of dollars into a trust fund for left-leaning nonprofit organizations. I think it was 11 or 17 billion. I can't remember. I mean, that's a big number, obviously, that he donated many years ago. But here's the thing that I want to throw out there as just to put a twist, a screwdriver in the brains of Americans here, is that, look, by many standards on the left, I mean, the people on the left who support Soros or think that he's a savior. Well, given their anti-Israeli sentiment, I mean, Soros turned in his fellow Jews during World War II, if you remember correctly. So let's be honest here on who George Soros really is. I mean, he's a guy that will turn on his own like that, and certainly the American people. I'm not saying one way or the other where I lie in the whole thing. I'm just telling you the facts of who George Soros is.
100%, I agree. 100%. All right, so moving on, we have the next story is there's been a lot of chatter, a lot of signal, a lot of narrative over the Federal Reserve, the IRS, and the monetary system. Well, Kevin Bissett came out yesterday and said he's called for an internal review of all of the Fed's operations. And this is the kind of thing that needs to be addressed because the Fed is an unaccountable institution, something that Ron Paul has been screaming about for decades, and now it's coming to fruition. James, what do you make of it?
Mr. Brissett says we need a fundamental reset for financial regulation. The domestic mandate must include fostering economic growth and stability. I mean, how do we harness this when there's so much corruption?
Well, I think that's being done, and I think it has to do with the National Guard being rolled out to every state in the United States right now. Alex?
Bingo.
Well, because I've had conversations with you guys offline, I'm just going to ask a very simple question. What government agency or charge of auditing that IRS entity coming in to check out the Fed? Like it's we're headed into very interesting times from a financial perspective of who's being held accountable. Where did the money go from? How do we know who we found? Computers that just magically printing money, like it's not sustainable. And I think we're at the end of this third iteration of a privately held bank in control of our currency. We've talked about this 100 times on the show. The founding fathers said that is more dangerous than any standing army in the world. And what we've seen since 1913 forward has been a shining example of why we can't have the current monetary system that we have, which is a fiat currency.
Right, exactly. Salt Spring Survival said, my grandparents are probably rolling around in their graves right now. Very true. But again, there is a lot of signal concerning the IRS, the monetary switch, as I call it, the Federal Reserve. Pat? Any comment?
Well, I mean, I'll echo Alex's sentiment. Of course, we know that the Federal Reserve, money's created out of debt. The more we borrow, for every dollar we borrow, we create $30. It's the same thing. The further in debt we go, the more money we create, the more slavery we create for our society, for the world, for all of it. So yes, it has to collapse. It comes down to the people, how it's rebuilt, and if it's real money backed by real tangible assets or not. And that's where, look, I don't care if you're on the left or the right, you better want real money, because real money makes real programs, real policies, and that's where
real products, real services,
and ultimately real human beings, right?
Right, exactly. So Ozzy Crosby over on YouTube. Oh, wait,
this is Cowboy. Look, it's Cowboy Wrestling. My good buddy Bob made that shirt for me and sent it to me because he's a John Smith fan. You can't not like John Smith. He was an Olympic gold medalist and coach of Oklahoma State. I'm from Iowa. Every time Oklahoma State and I talk to John Smith about this, I got to say this. I saw John Smith after the NCAA tournament one year. Iowa, of course, national champs again, beat them. And I walked up to John Smith in the St. Louis airport and I go, hey, man, I just wanted to tell you that you guys make great villains, and congratulations on second place.
Nice. Ouch.
But I still got to love John Smith. I still got to love it.
Yeah, of course. Hey, Mama Bear's here. Hey, Mama Bear. Oh, and wow, we already have passed 100,000 likes. So, yes, we will be dancing at the end of the show, everyone. All right. So Howard Lutnick revealed that he will now seek to have the United States federal government own a portion of the patents currently owned by universities as a result of new inventions. Again, this is part of the whole switch that we've been talking about. You know, why are why is the CDC, why do they have the right to acquire distributions or dividends from things that were created underneath the umbrella of the federal government? All of that has to change. And it looks like we're going down that road now. James?
You know, it's interesting. The United States gives billions of dollars every year to colleges and universities to create and invent things. When they do, the colleges and universities end up with the patent and trademarks. And basically, the United States taxpayer has funded this stuff, and we get nothing in return other than the bright individuals that go out into society and keep the money all to themselves. Or, moreover, the colleges and universities keep that money for themselves. So the United States government says, hey, why are we doing this? Or somebody in the taxpayer world said, hey, you know what? We need to reap some benefit off of this. How can we do that? And that's exactly why the government wants to say, hey, if you follow our ideologies and you let us supervise this, we'll give you the monies, but we get something in return. And that comes back to the taxpayer.
Right, exactly. Just like the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Hey, Jess the Mess from Tex just made it. Hey, Jess, haven't seen you in a couple of days. Hope all's well. Alex, any comment on that?
I mean, it's transparency and common sense. The man is turning on the light and watching all the cockroaches scatter. We're giving money to these colleges, which are, in many cases, teaching ideologies that are nonsensical, sending kids out into the workforce with pieces of paper that they can't get a job with. It makes sense. Again, like the Intel scenario, we gave you money, and in return, we will receive something back. He's doing it with foreign nations. He's doing it with colleges. He's doing it with businesses. I mean, business is this man's forte. Like I've said for a long time that we needed a businessman in the position. He's not a politician, doesn't act like the polished politician. I for one, am all for it, but you know, Ross Perot had a lot of the same ideologies, and they ran his ass out of the political spectrum quickly. So it's refreshing to see. Yes, we absolutely. If I'm giving you $10, I want $20 of value back, and you know, hopefully that's going to be the case with the patents.
Yeah, exactly. Mama Bear said, hey, just the mess from Tex. Sam is all squirrely today. Well, I am, Mama Bear. Yes, I am. Pat, what are your thoughts on that university thing?
I think my concerns fall in the line, and I'm sure yours do as well, Sam, with what we recognize as the patents on, living organisms and plants and seeds, right? That's where there's a really big problem, because no matter whether we believe in just nature or a creator or whatever, that's no longer owned by that power, right? It's owned by the multinational corporations. And of course, the left should be on board with what I'm saying here, because they're totally against multinational corporations. So do you want multinational corporations to own every seed, every plant, every insect, the honeybees, animals, and of course human beings with the new technology that came out in 2021 moving forward? Are you in fact currently owned as a patent by a multinational corporation because you went out and fell for the trick or got forced to get it through work, whatever it was? Are you now patent property of a multinational corporation? You actually might be.
Well, and that brings to mind a whole other theory, not theory, but another law in America. You cannot patent a naturally occurring substance.
But here's the thing.
Law.
Yeah, so but here's the thing. Supreme Court precedent shows that if you patent the process to alter, and you're successful in altering the genetics of that natural occurring seed, plant, insect, animal, or human, by Supreme Court precedents, it becomes your property. And that's backed up by numerous lawsuits by big ag companies about their seeds and their crops and all. So it's established. There's no argument.
Well, that's exactly, but that's the genetically modifying process that should be thrown out. You cannot. I mean, that's what the pharmaceutical industry thrives on.
Sure.
They take a naturally occurring substance, they modify it at the genetic level, and then they
So
patent
moving
it.
forward into the new world with new currency, digital ID, all these things, who gets excluded from the? I mean, we've got the counterfeit world, we've got the real world, we've got real humans, counterfeit humans. We've got where are we going, bud? Where are we going? Right?
Right, and somebody who's an expert on that is Lee Daniels. She's been kicked off of TikTok again. But when we're talking about the straw man and being owned by corporations, go to Lee Daniel, her website or her account on YouTube, and listen to some of her videos. It's exactly what you're talking about, Pat. 100%. All right. Lastly, today, this is a big one. The FDA revoked the emergency authorization for the C19 jabs. Now, the EUA, the emergency use authorization, enabled a whole bunch of things to take place. Are we going to see fraud vitiating everything when it comes to this? James, what do you make of it?
I think so. This move was made to end the mandates. It puts an end to the broad mandates of the general public, and it makes more difficult for vaccines, and Pat's probably going to enjoy this part, to be given to children under the age of 5.
Exactly. Alex?
Go back to the conference. What did RFK say is coming down the pipe? I think the bombs that dude is about to drop on the American public about what has been causing us to be the sickest, the autism rates to go from 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 32 in a 40-year time span is gonna blow apart this very subject, and I cannot wait for what that guy has got coming down the pipe for us. Let's go with the Pegasus.
Wow, that was cool. Big John Gwynn coming out hot. Pat, go ahead. What do you think about that UA revocation?
Well, hey, awesome, great, but they've gotten enough technology into people. It's self-replicating. They are bioweapons. I got to put some slashes in here. Manufacturing facilities. They are walking, talking manufacturing facilities. Period. End of story. It's proven. Synthetic technology. I'm not going to say the letters. I don't want to get you in trouble.
Right.
But look, we know it alters the DNA. We know it alters genetics. We know the manufacturing, the messaging going to the chromosomes, to the ribosomes that are building the amino acids that are folding into these three-pronged spiked what. They're manufacturing them even after they pass. They did a study on, what was it, 70 bodies of the folks that got the boopity boops, we'll just say that, and that's what we call them. And all of them, 270 days after they were deceased, they were still manufacturing the technology. That's a proven fact. That's all documented. So look, we can be divisive. We can talk all this political stuff, but let's be, unless you know how to get that stuff out and keep it out, you're going to have problems, period.
Right. And like Boone Cutler and many others say, politics is downstream from social culture. And I think that's what this show is all about. That's what Pat's doing is all about. It's changing the social culture so that ultimately the politics changes, the monetary system changes. So many things that need to be changed. We've got to start with the mind. We've got to get people to understand what's going on. And I couldn't agree more, Pat. Couldn't agree more.
Sick, uneducated people fall for tricks, right? Healthy, strong, very aware people don't fall for it.
Exactly. And it's something that you just brought up that I've been saying literally for decades, that a person who is nutritionally deficient, a person who is toxic, cannot think properly. They don't have the ability to. And that's why I give people so much grace, because I understand that. And I've lived, away from that model for so many years. I can think straight. Does that mean I'm always right? No, of course not. But you're absolutely right. I believe you have to give people grace, because as this cruise ship is changing course, we are moving into a place where the I told you so's have no position or no place. It's a matter of coming up next to your neighbor, helping them to understand what's going on.
Really, really quick, sassy Minnesota girl said, pure blood and raised her hand. Here's the thing. We know through our tests that those who did not receive the treatments are being shed on, and the technology is happening inside of them as well. It might not be as severe, but it is happening. The shedding is taking place. So you need to know, and it's not through the people that have been pushed out into the public who are pushing these protocols. Be very aware that they have millions of followers for a reason. Okay? So be aware.
Yeah, exactly. And that is another reason for detoxification and also nutritional saturation, because the body knows what to do. The body, when you cut your hand, you don't have to sit there and say, okay, now body, send white blood cells to this area. It knows what to do. It's what I call, and my brother, Dr. Mike, God rest his soul, called innate intelligence. The body has that ability, but it has to have the nutritional powerhouse to do that. And it has to be rid of the toxicity. And that's, as I think, the direction that we're going. All right, everybody. Well, that's it for today. Let's see, where are we at? 125,000 likes. You guys are awesome. You are just awesome. So that means one thing. And yes, Pat, we were writing you the day after you were here last time for doing the finger dance. Come on, man. We need to see a little more than that today. Alex, go ahead. Let's cue it up.
Pat, it's super simple. This is how Trump does it. You just make two fists, and all you got to do is this. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do.
All right, cue it up, Alex. All right, everybody at home, stand up. It's time to get your dancing shoes on. We are going to be dancing to the YMCA. We're at 126,000 likes. You guys are awesome. Let's see it in the chat. I expect you to be dancing at home as well. Who do we have dancing here? All right, we've got Jerry BR549, Virgo 47, Cody, Valerie James, Kathleen Garcia, Travelers dancing, Joy is dancing, Hits is dancing. Hey, Hits, Towie Bixby, Valerie James, Deb M. There we go. Come on, everybody. Oh my gosh, everybody in the chat's dancing. Pure Blood Holly Johns, Virgo 47, Brian Yeager. Oh my goodness. Chris Romano, Wendy, Rick Sr., Deb, Baba Bear. Oh, here we go.
Hey, interstate inmates not dancing.
Oh, yeah, I am.
All right, who we got going here? We got Joy dancing, Pure Blood Holly Johns, Virgo 47, Christy B 78, Rick Sr. All right, good job, everybody. I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to give some dancing lessons to Pat. He's having a hard time getting that butt out of the chair and dancing, but that's all right. We're going to let him slide this time.
I was boogieing.
Oh, okay. That's the white man dance. Okay, I get it.
Wait,
I get it.
Are you a racist?
No. I make fun of everybody.
I'm the Caucasian sensation.
There you go. Exactly. All right, everybody. All right, let's move to final thoughts here. James, you want to lead us off?
As we're going into this Labor Day weekend, today kicks it off. The first Labor Day celebration was centered in New York City, September 5th, 1882, when some 10,000 workers marched in the parade organized by a central labor union and the Knights of Labor. We celebrate, honor, and recognize the American worker for contributions for sustainment, development, and achievements in the United States. As today kicks off the celebration, please be safe in your travels, maintain awareness of your surroundings, and love thy neighbor and friends. Without you guys here on this platform, I got to thank you for the gifts. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate the animosity and all the love.
Exactly. And, I also want to give honorable mentions. John Gwynn, Charlie, Benji 1959, Penny, Interstate Inmate, Cody, Traveler, Rita 77, Hokey Gigi, Kevin Kiesler, Wendy, Towie Bixby, Sarah Catherine, Kathleen Garcia, Dobermom 79, Joy, Rick Sr., Jerry BR, Brian, Pure Blood Holly John, AJM CSJ, and the list goes on. Thank you all. Thank you all for the gifts. All right, Pat, any final thoughts today?
No, thank you for allowing me to join. I'm always appreciative, very appreciative.
You are always welcome, Pat. Always welcome to join us here. Alex?
Pat, let's definitely connect off the app, sir.
Sam, do you want to text everybody together and then we can have a call?
Sure.
I see some good things happening in many places. I appreciate all three of you gentlemen joining us today. I appreciate the audience, the gifts, the time, the trolls for boosting the algorithm, the construction workers that are squirrels for Sam.
So true.
We take for granted a lot of things in this life. I would just implore everybody to spend your time wisely, and the appreciation runs deep for the hour you spend with us every day. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you.
Exactly. Tammy C54 just made it here at the last minute. Glad you made it, Tammy. I couldn't say it any better than the guys have already said it. We're so grateful that you are here with us. We're so grateful that we get to spend over an hour every day with you and just banter ideas back and forth, talk about things, disagree about things, but do it in a respectful and loving manner. So thank you, everyone. And remember, the best is yet to come. Okay, everybody. Alex, what are you taking us out with?
Somebody had some comments about Pat's dancing.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly. Oh, nice goggles. Thank you, LSE. LSE's here. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Glad you made it. All right, everybody. So have a wonderful day, Pat, James, Alex. Thanks for being here, and we'll see everybody tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time. In the meantime, have a great day, everybody.